What's up guys, sharkeatyellow here again. As you guys can see here, this is my highly anticipated worm deck list profile. Look at this baby, oh my god, this is a very fun and awesome deck. With the addition of King Pharaoh Imp, or as I like to call him, King Gremlin, he makes the deck so freaking amazing. Just the addition of this card just makes the deck so consistent and makes it a lot easier to play with, because you know, he just gives you the speed that you need, he gives you the control that you need, he gives you the search that you need, and that's what this deck really needed. The only card that can actually help you out in this deck back in the days was Carteros and maybe Sanguine, and even like that, you know, it still didn't work that well, because this guy had to be flip face up in order to get his effect, and even like that, they'll just pop him or something like that. And then even with the addition of WNW Meteorite, you still didn't have that, you know, great of a chance to draw into your combo pieces and to your monsters that you really want. And sometimes you will draw into your combo pieces that you do not want to draw into, and that's why the addition of this card just makes the deck so freaking more consistent and gives it more speed than what it really needs. It needs that speed, my bad. It gives it the speed that it really needs. So I'm gonna go through the deck list, guys, and talk a little bit more about the deck. Sorry if I'm talking like crap, I just came back from a run. So anyway, guys, we have 3 Shock Troopers, 2 Rescue Rabbits, 3 Worm X, 3 Yugioh, 2 Carteros, 1 Tentacles, and 1 King. That right there is the worm lineup. Oh yeah. And last but not least, for the reptiles, we have Evil Dragon Anata. And last but not least, for the monsters, we have 1 Honest. Now for the spells, we have Pot of Avarice, Book of Moon, Dark Hole, Heavy Storm, Mind Control, and Monster Reborn. All these cards are fucking limited. Holy shit. Limited cards for days. Now we have 3 MSTs, 2 Polydualities, 2 Phoenix Chain, 1 Solemn Warning, 1 Solemn Judgment, 2 WNW Meteorite, 2 Compulsory Activation Device, 2 Starlight Road, and last but not least, 2 Mirror Force. So now for the extra deck, we have 3 King Pharaoh Imps, 1 Shock Master, I almost said Shock Trooper, Shock Trooper's up here, Gemini Pearl, Black Ship of Corn, Photon Knight, Maestroke, Digusto Emerald, Giant Hand, Photon, Omega, Roach, and last but not least, 2 Stardust Dragons. So you guys might be asking, how does this deck work? This deck works by essentially controlling your opponent and trying to get these guys out as quickly as possible. You know, trying to get your Exceeds out as quickly as possible. And that's why I run the Rabbit Engine. The Rabbit Engine's mainly in here to go into your King Pharaoh Imp, so you can use King Pharaoh Imp to search out either your Worm X, your Evil Dragon Anata, or your Worm Tentacles. These are the cards that you usually want to search out with King Pharaoh Imp's effect, because they can be searched by him. And let me read you what King Pharaoh Imp does, or how I like to say King Gremlin. What he does is that you need 2 level 4 monsters. Once per turn, you can detach 1 Exceed Material monster from this card. Add 1 reptile monster from your hand to your deck. So let's say, for example, if Sinister Serpent was on ban. Oh my goodness, we have a card that searches Sinister Serpent. Yeah. So anyway, guys, let's go back into the deck. We essentially use Rescue Rabbit to go into our Shock Troopers, and then since our Shock Troopers are 1900 beaters, they're level 4, you can go into any of these guys that you desire, any of them except him. Yeah, you can't go into him because you need light type monsters. That's why you run all these guys, because they're all light. So yeah, that's why the Rabbit, get away out of here. That's why the Rabbit Engine is essentially in here, so you can go into those easy King Pharaoh Imp plays, so you can search out Evil Dragon Anata, your Worm X, or your Tentacles. Essentially, these guys are pretty self-explanatory. This guy, he sends a worm monster to the graveyard, and then this guy, if he's sent to the grave, you can send him. My bad. If he's in the graveyard, and this is the only monster that you control, you can special summon him in face down defense position. And what he does is that when he's flip face up, he's essentially a compulsory activation device when he's flip face up. And if he's special summoned by by his effect, you know, if this guy's the only monster in the field and he's set face down and special summon like that, when he's removed from the field, he gets removed for play. So yeah. Carteros just searches out your worms when he's flip face up. And Worm Tentacles, which is a card that usually people don't play in their worm decks because you really wanted your worms to stay in the graveyard and you really wanted them to stay on the field. So in this particular build, you can actually use them very well because your worms are going to be in the graveyard. They're either going to be in the graveyard or removed from play. And most of the time, they're going to be just exceeding materials for these guys. So Worm Tentacles gives you that advantage to attack twice, and being 1700 beater is pretty good. So you can attack twice with a Worm Tentacles, drop an Honest on him, and then you have essentially a huge ass monster that can attack twice. So that's pretty freaking awesome. And yeah, Worm King is just essentially in here for your Nebula Meteorite plays, or like I said, you're usually going to have these guys on the field, so if you want to, you can tribute one of your worms, summon out Worm King, and then just use his effect to just start popping cards left and right. So pretty freaking awesome. Everything else is pretty self-explanatory. Evil Dragon Anata, if you guys want to play 2, it's really freaking good in this deck. He's so useful in this deck. Actually, he's freaking useful in this deck. So if you have 2, play 2. The reason why I don't play 2 because he can be searched with King Feral Imp, and most of the time he can be protected. So yeah, and what this guy does is that this guy can only be special summon if you remove from play all reptile monsters you control and in the graveyard. So just remove everything from the field in the graveyard. And this guy gains 600 for each reptile monster removed from this effect. And during each of your end phase, you get to pop a card. So this is pretty freaking good. I gotten this guy to 4200, and that's one reason why I run Shock Trooper, because you can run any other, you know, any other monster. The only reason why I run a reptile like Shock Trooper is because he works well with Evil Dragon Anata and gives him that 600 boost that he needs. So yeah, everything else is pretty self-explanatory. The only card I'm really going to be talking about is Nebula Meteorite. I'm actually thinking about taking this card out because in the control version it works amazingly, because you can recycle your Yigans effects, you can recycle your Carteros effects, you can recycle essentially all your reptile monsters effects that are light, and allow you to special summon a huge ass monster. Next turn you just flip up your Yigans, bounce their cards, and then just use his effect to just start destroying your Yigans and start blowing up your opponent's field. But in this particular deck, most of the time these guys are going to be in the graveyard, or like I said, they're going to be banished, or they're going to be exceeding materials for these guys. So this card doesn't work that great in this deck, but you know, I still run 2 just in case you need it, but you really don't need it. So you can substitute them with you know, Dimensional Prison, Bottomless Trap Hole, Alien Brain. Let me read you what this card does. Activate only when a reptile monster you control is destroyed by battle by your opponent's attacking monster and sent to the graveyard. Take control of the attacking monster and is treated as a reptile monster. So that's pretty freaking good. Let's say they attack into your Carteros, you get a search and you get to take their monster, and then you take it for essentially forever. So you can take their BLS and it'll be your monster and it'll be a reptile, and if you decide, you can use BLS effect, you know, banish a card and then just banish BLS for Evil Dragon Anata's effect since it's a reptile now, and you could just do sick plays with this card. Another card that I'm also thinking about playing is Return from a Different Dimension. Since I run so many cards that banish stuff, and you guys might not think that this deck banishes a lot, Tentacles banishes reptiles for him to attack twice. And Evil Dragon Anata, like I said, most of the time when you drop this card, you're going to be banishing 7 reptile monsters most of the time. So when you drop this card, you're going to be banishing 7 reptile monsters, because in order to use his effect, you have to banish reptile monsters. So you're going to be banishing them, and this card is not a bad card to have in here. So you can activate a Return from Different Dimension, just special summon all your reptile monsters. Also forgot Yagi gets banished when he uses effect to special summon himself when X is the only card in the field. You can just special summon all your reptile monsters, and just go into a Shockmaster and a giant hand play where if you do that, your opponent better scoop because they can't do shit. That's a really funny play. You can also run, ooh, I forgot to put this in here, Offering to the Snake Deity. This card becomes more useful in this deck. Not like in the control version where you want to keep your monsters on the field and control your opponent because it's a control deck. This card becomes so useful. Let's say you have a dead Shock Trooper, just summon Shock Trooper, run over their cards, and then let's say they try to, I don't know, dimensional present your Shock Trooper, then just activates Offering the Snake Deity, pop their cards, and yeah, destroy your opponent from there. So you have more plays with. You can actually use Offering the Snake Deity in this deck. The only problem with Offering the Snake Deity is that if they book your reptile monster, then its effect essentially fizzles, and you cannot target a face down defense position reptile monster because it doesn't know it is. It's not like Icarus attack where it knows it's a winged beast monster. Offering the Snake Deity doesn't know that, but anyway, guys, tell me what you guys think about this deck. I really freaking enjoy it. I think it's a tier 2, tier 1.5 deck if you can get it to that point, tier 1.5. The deck works so freaking amazingly. It's so freaking consistent. At most times, you really don't even need Cardaros in this deck anymore. You really don't need W-Nebula Meteorites in this deck anymore. You can just run Tentacles. You can run another Evil Dragon Anata. You can run any of these great traps that I have in here. The deck is just so freaking consistent now. Just the incorporation of King Gremlin. The deck becomes amazing now. It just becomes freaking god. Well, of worms. It becomes the god of worms now. This is something that this kind of deck really needed, and just the inclusion of this Exceed made the deck the way it is today. So anyway, guys, tell me what you guys think about this. I really freaking enjoy it, and until next time, guys, I hope you guys enjoy this deck too and playtest it, and tell me what you guys find. Please put video responses down below. If you guys like any changes, then please put it down below, and I will do that, because like I said, most of these decks still need a lot of work. So anyway, guys, until next time, guys, I'll see you guys later, and tell me what you guys think about this deck. Until next time, guys, I'll see you guys later. And I said that so many times. Bye.